Today is the day, not Tuesday, D-Day, the day that we take a look at the AIM Hall Effect controller, which has been highly requested. I've had it in hand for about 2 months, but leaves vast room for improvement in the thumbstick module department. In this video, I want to test those new Hall Effect thumbsticks. Then I want to talk about a few things that AIM does that I absolutely love, features that they offer that nobody else does. Then flip token and take a look at the things I do not like, some cons, shortcomings, or areas of improvement, and wrap it all up with do I recommend AIM controllers for Xbox and PlayStation in 2024. Let's get it.
This is your controller captain. We've reached 6,900 feet. Go ahead and start flicking the sticks and mollywopping the back paddles.
You don't like back paddles? How about those rear buttons?
We've tested almost 100 custom and premium controllers, and we're only at the beginning. You need a thumbstick guide or tutorial on how to overclock your controller?
Check out the controller playlist.
Bing bong.
Controller captain out.
A quick disclaimer for my audience, the Stallions and Stallionettes. This controller was sent for review, but this is going to be an honest, comprehensive review. I haven't been paid or told to say anything about it, so if there's any cons, shortcomings, or areas of improvement, you're going to hear about it. So these companies make better products over time. Now, in case you're scratching your peach fuzz while you're watching this video thinking, Kevin, this video isn't conducted like your usual controller reviews. Where's the bumper section and where's the testing of the input lag or delay? And we're not overclocking. Reason for that being that video already exists. It came out April 2nd of last year. There's those timestamps or chapters that you're used to seeing, accessory buttons, bumpers, yibbity dibbity. That video review is going to be linked in the description below because at its core, the controller that we're talking about today is identical to the AimBack Pro, which was the last major revision to the DualSense controllers from AIM, releasing what is still the best trigger lock or stop system for the PlayStation 5 currently, and also one of the best, not the best, but one of the best rear button / paddle systems in the game. Shortly after that, I released a video giving a tour or showcase of the builder as they did streamline the entire process to where now it is a lot more fluid and smooth to jump around what part you're looking for. So a lot of AIM videos exist on my channel, not saying, hey, I'm not going to talk about it here, instead of being a Winchester repeater here and repeating things that I've already said before. I'm going to say all new things and just direct you to the previous AIM videos for stuff I've already covered.
As for the packaging included accessories, you might be wondering why I've got a duo or pair of boxes out. It's because I've actually received 2 gamepads from AIM controllers spaced out by a couple of months that haven't really been featured or showcased on the channel yet. Same outer sleeve AIM's been using for about a year now. Looks really sick with this little hexagonal design, flat matte black. Also feels like some kind of a rubberized soft touch material, which is pretty cool. Don't really expect that from a box. Now, if you're like me, a goddamn patriot slinging brass on the wings of a giant eagle, then you're probably gonna like to see that this is designed and manufactured in the US of A, for democracy, sweetheart.
And spread managed democracy throughout the galaxy. Become a hero.
If you want to pause the outer box to read some of the key features, you may do so now. Some of the notable ones are going to be the AimBack trigger stop system, which is the only trigger lock or stop system other than the DualSense Edge, which still has the adaptive trigger motors, which is a fat W if you're using it on PS5. But then you take it over to the PC or you're playing a competitive shooter and you click those bad boys on, those active triggers, and they become a 1mm mouse click. When this feature was released from AIM, I did a review as I was one of the individuals testing out one of the first units, and I deemed it the best PS5 triggers on the market. Guess what?
That hasn't changed.
And their catchphrase or slogan is good luck in the game. Don't need luck. Got a pro controller, bud. These boxes have a magnetized clasp and do lift up from this little foreskin tab here at the front. You have a little accessory box, which is going to have a 10-foot braided USB-C cable. You're also going to have a couple of swappable thumbstick cap options, and your snap plates might have popped off in transit. Now, all AIM controllers, all PS5 AIM controllers, I shall say, do come with these snap plates, which I think is a fantastic feature. That way you can customize just by changing out the plates on the palm grips and touchpad and not have to buy multiple $200 pro controllers. I mean, you're still going to because you're a sick bastard and you have a disease, but you don't need to thanks to AIM. Always really liked this matte black, well, the box is matte black, and then the gloss black AIM logo. Snap plates are pre-installed, however, the thumbstick caps were not. They're all nilly-willy, and the box was actually damaged pretty, quite a goddamn lot. So hopefully no paying customers ever receive their controllers like that. I will say I have unboxed and reviewed about 10 controllers from AIM over the years, and this is the first time I've seen this, so probably not very common.
And then you do have this slick little holographic pouch with your thumbstick caps. So I guess this is the new design, ditching, putting them in this accessory box. I kind of like this, to be honest. Do your thing, Aim. Over the years, I've seen a lot of miscellaneous loose goodies get tossed in the boxes of Aim controllers, and these seem to be some lower quality joints here as far as the sticker, which, come on, it's a goddamn sticker. Who really cares? But it is lower quality than some of the Aim stickers I've seen previously. This USB-C cable, which is included, that's cool, instead of having to pay for an additional one, is very short, about 1 foot, in comparison to the ones you can buy from the website for about 10 bones, which used to be included with the controllers. They're 10 foot, braided, and have this cool branding on the USB-A and C end. But I've seen a lot of other goodies get tossed in the box. This tool is going to be for removing the rear paddles. It's stupid. It's a silly design. I've recommended that Aim ditch it for quite some time. I don't think they have. There's a stupid ass release clip right here that does get broken in over time to where you don't need to press this with a little pen or pencil, but in order to remove the paddles, you need to press down on this while simultaneously rotating this little ring or dish. Now again, that little button gets broken in over time, or you can just break the little fucking thing off because it is so stupid. I would prefer to have no tool and just be able to remove my paddles like this. You're never at any risk of reaching behind your controller, grabbing the center dish, squeezing it, turning it, and then popping out paddles. So you don't need that little release clip. It's stupid. Let's do away from that. But luckily, over time, removing and installing your paddles, the little clip just gets worn in or even broken, and then you don't need this anymore. You can just remove the paddles raw dog without it. These are what the snap panels look like. Really sick. And keep in mind, the hydro dipping graphics are covered with the lifetime warranty. The included thumbstick caps are virtually identical to the PlayStation 4 and 5 hybrids, except they have a lot more grip, as you can probably see. And unfortunately, Aim's highest stick, their high rise, is still what I would consider a mid-rise and not very high, so I always recommend just putting on the 2 low concaves and then popping KontrolFreeks over those if you're rocking an Aim controller. This is a little pamphlet, a little plug with some of their other products. Actually, it's just showing you the features of the controller that you've already purchased. It has snap panels. Express yourself. Go wild. And then, as you probably know if you've been around the channel a while, I'm a bit of a connoisseur, a snob, when it comes to instruction manuals, pamphlets, or brochures. And this one is absolutely phenomenal. As you can see, English is the only language. Very large font, so if you don't have the eyes of an eagle, you're still going to be able to read this no problem. Instructional pictures, not color, that would be nice, but you can still absolutely see what's going on. And you also have tutorials following these QR codes for things like removing the faceplate. This manual really does walk you through all of the key features of your new controller, which I really like. Scuff's also been really good about that in the past, because when you get a brand new Pro controller, you might not actually know how to activate or use a lot of the features that it has. So a good instruction manual like this is paramount. We always have a little laugh at some of the marketing or silly branding of these companies. For example, saying a high stick is defensive. Also, that's spelled wrong, yeah? But over here, offensive, more speed with a standard stick, and just stop yourself ahead of the game before you stumble yourself too far down that pit of acting silly, because you can play offensively, defensively, midfield, quarterbacker, linebacker. You can be the towel boy, water boy, assistant coach with any height thumbstick cap. One of my favorites is when manufacturers say that like a certain cap is for certain types of games. Like, you're going to use the dome sticks if you're playing racing games, you're going to want hybrids for the shooters, and you're going to want concaves if you realize that what I'm saying is completely silly. Speaking of completely silly, I've heard some silliness about the lifetime warranty from Aim, and there's an entire section about it because there are a couple of components that are not covered with that lifetime warranty, the biggest one being the thumbstick modules. But luckily, there are many other components that are covered. There's something's missing here. We'll talk about it later. And the first safety warning is going to let you know this ain't for the boys. This is for the men. Keep it away from your kids. This is a goddamn weapon of mass destruction here in the lobbies. So I'm sure what a lot of you dawdled down my alleyway for, or more importantly, clicked on the video, was testing these thumbsticks in Gamepad Tester because it reveals a whole hell of a lot. Now, gameplay really doesn't, because these feel like a normal DualSense or Xbox controller that rocks potentiometer thumbstick modules. But in Gamepad Tester, we are going to see two issues, two causes for concern. The first one is going to be jitter, that sporadic stutter or sputter at neutral. Now, I can finesse the thumbsticks and just give them little finite movements and cheese them to not be stuttering, but in gameplay, you're just going to be moving the thumbsticks, walking, aiming, then you stop. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Let's do it again, though. Doodle-doo-doo, shooting faces off, melted you like a stick of butter, reloading, slide cancel, a little bit of stutter, sputter, jitter at neutral. This is the exact issue we were seeing with the HYPR controllers, but that was a lot more dramatic, and luckily AIM
handled this better, where they sent out the first batch to a handful of their partners, me included, as where, to my understanding, and honestly the way it went down, HYPR did a little bit of in-house testing and then used their first batch customers as beta testers, if you will, just like all gamers are now game testers in the AAA modern gaming space. But AIM's been making tweaks or revisions, but here's the cause for concern. These are being sold currently, and they're not terrible. In fact, if you just get them, you're playing on PlayStation, shit, even PC, you might not even notice a difference, might not even have any issues. However, this jitter or stutter at neutral can actually cause what seems like input lag or delay, latency, when you're on the thumbsticks, strafing, moving, especially if you're playing competitively and milliseconds matter to you because you're a fucking Shroud-like beast. Well, he's a mouse player who's a really good controller player, like Scump or Joe-O or something, crossing people up on the thumbsticks. The next cause for concern that we have here is going to be the circularity test, as the average error rate is in the 20% range, which is on par with most potentiometer thumbsticks, actually a little bit higher. Generally, a stock Xbox or PlayStation controller is going to be between 10 and 16% average error rate. The Switch controllers are a little bit higher, and as you can see, we're a little bit higher than that. Now, 20 is still what I would deem acceptable. Before I plugged it into Gamepad Tester, I didn't really notice anything on the PS5 side of the house or PC. The results here in Gamepad Tester are not what we like to see. Let's run another one, shall we? Same results on the second pull, not phenomenal. The circularity test is not great. There is no weird inner or outer dead zone baked in, so we have to give some praise where praise is due. This is a lot higher results in the circularity test than I'd like to see. Remember, just like golf, lower number better here. And while the sticks perform just fine in gameplay, I definitely hope that AIM Controllers does outsource to another manufacturer of thumbstick modules, maybe some K-Silvers or something. You're most likely not going to have any drift, but if your thumbsticks aren't acting proper for you and you want to tauten them up, you can run a recenter and recalibration. My representative over there mentioned this when I said I was working on the review, and I was thinking to myself, where? It's not mentioned in the really nice little laid out instruction manual here, which I praised earlier. Nothing in there about that. Also, Google AIM Controllers recalibration and recentering. It brings you to an article on their help page of their blog on their website talking about how to reset the controller and how to remap the rear paddles and all this stuff, but this is the only resource here, and I'm gonna have this linked in the description below for your being able to fucking find it. And it walks you through, let me turn this, you know, dubstep they got playing down here, this hype track. So the instructions in this video, which start right about pretty quickly, start about 5 seconds into the video to the end here, is just for one thumbstick. You're gonna have to repeat it for the right. So about 3 minutes of dicking around recalibrating your thumbsticks, something that nobody wants to do, getting up and running with a custom controller that you want to work just right out of the box for you. Plug and play. But if you are having issues to the point to where your thumbsticks feel like shit, or you're thinking about returning the controller, try these steps first. Might get you up and running. Also, important terminology here. This should be a recalibration or recentering. This should already be calibrated, centered right out of the box. You should not need to do this. And if your results get better in Gamepad Tester after doing this right when you receive your controller, that's a problem, because that means AIM Controllers is being lazy and not doing their job, finishing up the quality control portion by testing the controllers and doing this recalibration on their own. Your customers shouldn't have to do this. It's great that this exists if you do develop issues down the road. You've had the controller for a few months, few years, but if you're having to run this on a controller you just received to make it run right, that's not how it's supposed to work. And for clarification, I ran this calibration to see if it would make a difference, and it did not. So I guess mine was already calibrated out of the box to the best of the abilities of these modules, which is hardware limited to not be great, as you can see. New modules down the road would be the next play. Over here on the AIM website, because I want to take a look at some stuff and things. One of those things is the fact that AIM now finally offers a remap chip for the back of their Xbox controllers. They've had a 4-paddle Xbox controller, but it was static buttons that you would have to select in the builder what you wanted forever and permanent. Gross. They sell a lot of gamerific goodies that I've reviewed on the channel, such as their PS5 snap plates, their charger dock, and their mice. Whenever you go to the PS5 builder and you click customize now, you get a little reminder of the 3 main features you're going to get. However, it disappears pretty quickly, so I kind of wanted to read that and then X out manually, but it just goes away on its own. I've got to say, AIM is near the top rung when it comes to their customization. There are a couple of other companies out there like Battle Beaver that might have a little bit more customization, but AIM has a shitload of faceplates. Look at that one. Buckaroo. But what's important to note here is the bare bones base entry-level price, $180, and that does get you 4 remappable and removable back buttons, the AimBack Pro trigger system, which is still the best PS5 trigger lock system in the game, or on the market, I should say. The snap plates, which are a really cool way of customizing your controller, and it's the only company that does that. And then their lifetime warranty, which is limited. We'll talk about it in just a mo. So if you just want a performance-only controller, you just want the stock, it looks like a stock controller from the front, then you flip it around backside, and you're like, holy shit, that's a pro controller, bro. 180 bones for you. But we are going to add a couple of performance-only features, modifications, leaving the cosmetics alone for a performance-only Supremo build, and then we're going to see how expensive you can make an AIM controller out the door. Digital buttons are a $40 edition, and I cannot recommend this enough, as AIM has the best digital buttons that I have personally tested. Reason being, they are substantially quieter than almost any mechanical switch while still giving you that nice tactile bump. They are rated for 10 million clicks, and the D-pad feels way more sturdy and secure. Instead of feeling all floaty and sinking into the front faceplate where you press down on right and it lifts up on left, they are 4 separate switches which have a nice distinct click, and for 40 bucks you get the D-pad and the face buttons. I can't recommend them enough, and those are covered by the lifetime warranty. And over here we have that Hall effect option, which is going to be 50 bucks for both thumbsticks. You cannot add it to one individual thumbstick module, which HYPR and, gosh darn it, I'm drawing a blank here, is it Modded Zone? Both cheaper than AIM's current offering here, having both of the thumbsticks linked up for 50 bones. Also this asterisk over here with this note, Hall effect joysticks are more sensitive than standard analog joysticks. In-game sensitivities may need to be adjusted based on user preference.
All natural cocoa beans from the upper slopes of Mount Nicaragua, no artificial sweeteners.
What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, AIM is sipping that mocha cocoa chocolate over there. Finest Himalayan cocoa beans you've ever drank. I feel like this is damage control or some kind of a little catch-all in case a customer gets a defective unit that they might be kind of gaslit into thinking, oh, maybe I just need to adjust my settings. I'll be doing a very sensual in-depth video in the near future, taking apart potentiometer and Hall effect thumbstick modules side by side with a nice close-up monocle on the desk. Then we're gonna take them to the PC for some testing. Then we're gonna do some research from some actual articles, sources cited and whatnot. And in that video, we are gonna be debunking so much just false marketing and crap you hear on the internet, on Reddit, and even the comment section of some of my videos. Hall effect joysticks are more sensitive than standard analog joysticks. They're not. But as this is a performance modification that I absolutely recommend, we are going to lock it in.
Shut it down!
Now, I always thought that these swappable thumbsticks just were a standard feature, but I'm sorely mistaken, comrades. It does cost you a little extra bones here. We jump from 270. Oh, fuck. Get your bank book ready. Take a loan out and sell a kidney. An extra $2 to add the swappable option, which of course you should pop for. Shit, might even save some money on not having to buy KontrolFreeks. Yeah, get those. The paddles, which are gonna be on the controller no matter what, starting at 180 bucks, they are black, and it's the same price if you want them red or blue. Although I think the red and blue actually look a little bit toyish and tacky. It's the way they paint them or something. It just doesn't appeal to my corneas personally. The black looks much more OEM factory flush, if you will. I don't know, it looks better to me. This is a must-have upgrade for me because these palm grips are slick as snot if you do not get the rubber grips. They are slicker than a stock PlayStation 5 DualSense controller, which has little stippling on the back, which is actually tiny PlayStation face buttons. Super cool Easter egg that you've probably known about because the console's been out for like 3 years. But this is just slick plastic because of course AIM doesn't have the licensing to have those little face buttons back there, and unlike D brands, they actually probably give a shit about being sued. That in combination with the fact that these are some of the grippiest, just nicest feeling on the hand skin rubber grips, and it's little crosshair AIM logos, which I thought was kind of cool. It's a $26 upgrade for black, red, or blue. Over here with smart bumpers, it is $34 to add digital smart bumpers, which give you a 1mm squeeze. Guess what? It's already about a 1mm to press bumpers in, and they're not a common point of failure. Forgo that option, in my opinion. And then the vibration motors over here, if you're playing competitively on the PC and you always turn off vibration anyway, you might want to save some battery life, save some weight. It's 5 bones to remove the vibration motors, but if you plan on using this controller on your PlayStation where you're probably going to want to use the haptic vibration, then just leave the motors in, for God's sake, because you can always disable that in game if it's distracting you from your shooting or something. Although blaming your controller vibrating in your hand seems like a scapegoat kind of reason. Like maybe you're not really good at shooters, but you're the kind of guy or gal that's like, oh, well, my fucking lag right now, and my ping's through the roof, and there's an ice cream truck driving down the street. It threw off my focus in the game. Like, dude, I don't think any of that's your problem. You should probably just focus on the fundamentals of a shooter, getting better at positioning and comms and pop shots and stuff like that. Anyway, what do I know? What I do know is that it's $300 out the door for a performance decked out custom with no cosmetic upgrades. That's fucking wow. I feel like it used to be cheaper, but the last time I've done a video like this specking out a controller in the AIM builder was about a year and a half ago, and inflation has not been kind to us. I think it's a combination of inflation and then also all these companies are taking it to their advantages, thinking that, oh, customers are just going to think it's inflation, so let's just jack our prices through the roof. Not saying AIM is doing that, but $300. That number's not nearly big enough or nausea-inducing yet. Let's see how expensive we can spec out an AIM custom controller. So these front shells are 31 bucks, which I think is kind of expensive, but they are snap plates, so you can just pop them off, swap them out for multiple designs if you want. Some of these are $21, but just the gradients and solid colors. Okay, carbon fibers, 21 bones. Yeah, but we're going for a bank breaking custom, so the most expensive faceplate we can find here, 31 bucks. Standard? Absolutely not. Customize it. So we're already up to $411, and I ain't even done yet. But over here in the gamer tags or logos, you can have imprinted, basically like a sticker or decal on the palm grip or touchpad, and you can either have a logo or your gamer tag. If this has been changed or made better over the last few years, then fantastic. But on my first AIM PS5 controller, I had AK-40 Kevin on the palm grip, and I was pretty let down by it. You can actually feel the sticker raised up on your palm, and it also didn't really match with the rest of the controller. The reds didn't really match up, and it just looked like kind of a cheap add-on, so I would forego that. As we're trying to make this controller as expensive as possible, it needs to be on there. Pop a logo on that ass. Boom. There it is. Alrighty, me comrades, me amigos. The damage has been done, and the damage is real. It is a PlayStation 5, not the discless, dickless version, but the actual optical disc drive, John. Well, almost, not with tax or anything, but it is $500, which is a big, fat, juicy number. However, I am still planning. This has been planned for quite some time, and it will be executed eventually. I swear to God. The best PS5 controller video where I compare all the custom PS5 controllers on the market based on 3 distinct price points, entry, mid, and high. Well, that works with Xbox and Switch, not so much with PlayStation, because they kind of start in the mid-level and go from there. But you might be shocked or appalled to see a $500 price tag on a custom third-party controller. But I'm gonna go ahead and break some hearts, break some necks, and break some ass cheeks here. In that best PS5 controller video, I'm gonna go through the builders of Cinch, HYPR, Battle Beaver, Evil, Mega Mods, just to name a few. And most of those custom controller companies that have a builder, if you start slathering on all the cosmetic options that you can, you're gonna hit that price point or in that region, which is fucking crazy. You don't have to spend that much money, but that's if you are selecting every single component, a custom color. But here's my whole thought on spending a shitload of money on a controller. In fact, I'm gonna make a separate video, a much shorter video with my thoughts on that topic, because it's something I've been asked about a lot and also seen floating around the comment section. Oh, I couldn't even imagine spending more than 160 bucks on a controller, blah, blah, blah. Just to summarize my feelings on that, if you're okay with spending $70 on a game, $70 on a subpar game every year, like Madden or Call of Duty, where you get it religiously knowing that it's going to be the same stinky turd every year, something like a $300 Pro controller, you are going to beat multiple games playing that, you play through multiple campaigns or stories of several games. You don't play those kind of games, fine. You're going to win so many fucking clan matches. You're going to do so many 360 no scopes on Team Deathmatch and search and destroy and sabotage. You're going to be planting at all the objectives with that controller. You're going to do so much with that controller. And this is back when custom controllers still rock potentiometer thumbsticks and could get stick drift for you at any possible moment. I've been extremely blessed and lucky from the controller lords to not experience a whole lot of stick drift in my life. I know how to combat it. I know how to fight it. I know how to do detailed tutorials on the internet showing individuals what I know about stick drift. But what I do know is not to fear spending a cockload of money on a controller if you're cool with spending a shitload of money on games, because you're gonna play a shitload of games with that custom controller that you got. I am going to be making a 3 or 5 minute video on that topic in the near future, because I got more to say, but this is a controller review. I do want to touch on their warranty, because it is good, really good, and then also not so good. So it is the only custom controller company that I know that offers a lifetime warranty, and that does cover a lot of parts or components, including the paint. So if your palm is wearing off the paint job, the hydro dipping graphics, you can get that replaced. The controller buttons, that's huge, because if you get the digital buttons, those do have a tap life cycle. It should be a lot more durable for you, but if you get the membrane bad boys, the stalkers, and those get jammed in for you and you don't really want to take apart your controller and fix it, which I advise you don't, and AIM also does advise you don't, you can get that fixed here. Smart triggers, so those are the clicky digital Mouse-like click triggers, love them and recommend them. Bumpers to match, those are both replaced. The paddles are going to be the plastic swappable pieces in case you snap one of those bad boys. The bases are going to be the spider kit in the back where you remap everything. Now the actual controller motherboard, so I guess the stock controller's PCB, the printed circuit board, and then stick drift, so the modules themselves are only covered for 45 days, which I don't like. Because with these other controller companies that offer a really short warranty, like 6 months, super short, that covers everything. So if you get stick drift, that's covered for 6 months. As we're here, that's only covered for a month and a half, which is very, very short. Lifetime on all these other parts and components, but a month and a half for stick drift. Keep in mind, if you go the Hall effect route, probably not going to get stick drift. As far as customer support and the climate of overall customer satisfaction over there at AIM Controllers, currently I'd rate it about a 7.5 out of 10, as HYPR dropped dangerously low into the 2 or 1 territory to where I had to make a warning video steering customers well and clear away from HYPR currently if you're in the pro or custom controller market. Keep in mind, that wasn't just the out of the blue video. I had made a video about 3-4 months prior saying, here's the issues over at HYPR. Here's an email directly from the representative over there saying that these are the changes that are going to be implemented. And then I gave him time to implement those changes, kind of observed, put my feelers out there, and saw that nothing had really changed. In fact, the milk had soured a little bit further and it was already clumpy. In fact, it had become yogurt. Now it's green yogurt. Nobody wants to touch it. It's making people sick. So put that jug of milk back. Now the milkman that's been fucking Aunt Clarice on the side, AIM, he pops up with his little fancy hat. I hear minimal complaints of controllers coming out of the box broken or breaking within the spec of warranty. I have heard quite a few complaints of controllers breaking 2-3 years down the road when they're out of warranty, and that sucks. I've had that happen to me. At that point, I do have some teardown and disassembly videos you could follow along with if it's something that's an easy fix like a headphone jack or maybe a stuck-in membrane face button. But I don't hear a lot of complaints about AIM controllers, especially in the custom controller world. So we're talking about companies that have a builder where there's multiple options available. You can get a pink D-pad and lime green face buttons. So companies like AIM, Battle Beaver, HYPR, Megamod, Cinch, etc. There's kind of a high error rate with all of those companies, but I will say AIM falls near the top as far as getting their shit together and having the quality control whipped into shape. And then also when issues do arise, I've heard stories where things are broken and AIM fixes them, but I've also unfortunately heard some stories recently here where AIM's been kind of shucking and jiving a little bit with their customer support. Or here's a very, very, very common one. It states in their warranty policy that paddles and bases are covered. So the remap chip and then the plastic paddles on the back, which are kind of hard to break, but it could happen. I mean, if you drop it just right. So people have snapped those and then gone to AIM for a replacement, and almost indefinitely they're telling them that they have to come out of pocket, which directly contradicts their warranty policy. So if you're not going to cover the plastic paddles and customers need to come out of pocket to replace those, that's fine, but remove that blurb from the warranty. And I'm not sure, but there might be a bumper issue over there at AIM. This is a really weird coincidence, but my first ever AIM controller, the one that I love so much with that Dexter blood splatter on the back and that carbon on the front, I still use the controller, but it has a wonky L1 or left bumper where sometimes it does not actuate at all. I'll press it and it does not actuate. And AIM was awesome enough to gift a controller, a really nice controller. Actually, it was just a gift certificate basically saying, hey, go crazy and build whatever you want in the builder for my stepdad who had a birthday here recently. So I was very thankful for that. He loves the controller, still uses it, but he's having an issue with one of his bumpers as well, and now only uses the controller for games where he's not really using the bumper much. So that's weird. 2 different controllers spaced out by about 3 years, both having bumper issues from AIM. That was kind of weird.
Can we get down to business?
So I want to talk about the pros, cons, and I guess verdict, my recommendation as to should you buy an AIM controller for PlayStation or Xbox in 2024. If you're on the Xbox side of the house, it's exciting because the Xbox is finally getting some love from AIM. They didn't have a remap chip for the longest time. It's still kind of finicky to get the battery tray cover off because of the Spider remap kit. And that's just kind of like a quality of life thing that you're going to notice as an AIM Xbox controller owner over time. You get used to it. It's just kind of hard to get the tray off. But the fact that Hall effect sticks are now offered on the Xbox and PlayStation controllers is great. The performance is not great in Gamepad Tester, although I mentioned it earlier. I didn't feel any issues in gameplay whatsoever. They felt like normal thumbsticks. And if you do have any issue, you can run that recalibration that I walked you through earlier. There's not much I don't like about AIM controllers, but there's a few, so I'm going to mention them now. Some cons, shortcomings, or areas of improvement for the next versions or iterations of these controllers. First one is the warranty. It's caused a lot of concern because it's labeled as a lifetime warranty, But stick drift is not covered for a lifetime. Shit, it ain't even covered for 6 months. It's covered for 45 days, which is Paquito, is minuscule, is tiny, is fucking small. It's actually shorter than any other controller company that I can think of, because generally the shortest warranties you'll see will be 6 months, and that covers all parts and components. Having said that, the lifetime warranty does cover a lot of other stuff, but I would like if it covered stick drift for at least 6 months. And we know this is a possibility because those snakebite controllers I reviewed recently, there's a pair or duo for Xbox, a couple of wired controllers, those have a 5-year warranty covering everything, including the Hall Effect thumbstick modules. So companies can get away with doing this. Granted, those are comparing apples to oranges. This is a custom controller company versus a mass-produced, sold in brick and mortar stores like Walmart and Best Buy gaming peripheral company. But I do believe that AIM can do a little bit better in their warranty. The next one would be, I'd like to see some kind of snap plates introduced for the Xbox, some kind of little magnetized swappable joints, because it's cool that there's now a remap chip for the Xbox, but the DualSense has definitely gotten a lot more love. The next one would be, it would be kind of cool if AIM offered any Nintendo controllers or products, custom Joy-Cons, but I understand licensing, dicking with Nintendo, dealing with them, probably not a pleasurable experience. That's why a lot of custom controller companies completely steer clear of Nintendo and do not offer their platform's controllers. But there are some substantial pros and reasons that I always recommend AIM controllers whenever I see a comment floating around asking, hey, what's the best controller for Xbox or PlayStation? Price isn't an issue. I just want a really killer controller. The snap plates are cool. That's not like a real game-busting controller selling feature or anything. It's really cool being able to cosmetically change the look of your controller. But what's really amazing here, and I do have to just applaud and, you know, good game, smack on the ass cheek of AIM over here, is going to be the AimBack triggers, which are still, to this day, the best PlayStation 5 trigger lock system on the market, because when they're turned off, you have the adaptive triggers. They get stiffer or lighter depending on the action on screen. Then you turn them on and they become a digital mouse click with a 1mm squeeze, and those are also covered by the lifetime warranty. Trickling down her backside, down the triggers, you're going to see those sweet sentimental paddles, which are removable, something I've always praised them for, because some games I only want 2 paddles. Some games I don't want anything back there, like Crash Bandicoot or something. I've tried a lot of mechanical D-pads and face buttons over the years, and AIM currently offers the best. I mentioned earlier why they're the best. I do wish it was separated, where you could buy the D-pad and face buttons separately if you only wanted one or the other, but the pricing is very reasonable at $40 for the whole hoopla, which is also covered by the lifetime warranty. The next one's going to be the customization. Like I mentioned, they are top of the pack. I mean, there's only a couple more custom controller companies that offer a few more options in their builder, but they don't offer all the other features that I've just mentioned. So overall package, if you're going to grab it by the package, AIM's got a fat hog for you over there. But I want to hear your thoughts. Drop in the comments section below your opinion of AIM controllers. Have you purchased one in the past? Are you looking at getting one now? If you are, make sure you check the description below, because there is an exclusive discount for my audience. And I will see you Stallions and Stallionettes tomorrow. Peace. If you enjoyed the video, liking it helps it to get seen by more gamers, so this information will reach and assist them as well. Much like the back of the TV, I've got plugs for all of my socials down there in the description below. And your wallet will greatly thank you if you check the description, because there are exclusive discounts on a ton of products, including controllers, KontrolFreeks, keyboards, mouse pads, clothes, and energy drinks. And keep in mind that you, the viewer, keep this channel running. The more Stallions and Stallionettes trotting around the stable, the better, so mollywop that subscribe button like it owes you money, and we'll have the same amount of fun tomorrow.